Hey folks, Chumfesk here bringing you another audio commentary today between Remind the Orange Elf in the 10 o'clock position and Nightend, the teal undead in the 2 o'clock position. In case you don't know, Nightend is a European undead who's actually very good, and it's surprising that we don't see more of him. He recently beat Grubby in a best of 3, and clearly as an undead that's not an easy feat, and he was actually I believe disqualified from BlizzCon just because of where he lives, which is really unfortunate obviously, and he probably would have done quite well in this. And anyways, back to this game. A very centered opening from Nightend. He's going for a ghoul build obviously, and same for Remind. Altar builds with Ancient of War just next to some easy creeps for creeping quickly. And if we take a look at what's we see Remind's going for a warden here, which is a fairly good strategy against undead, because you know the undead's going to go for a death knight, and the warden can just constantly shadow strike the death knight, and until tier 2 the death knight really has no healing whatsoever, and the combination of the damage and the slow of Shadow Strike really allows you to do a lot of extra damage to the Death Knight, and so he is less able to harass and has to go creep more. And as we can see, very centered here from Nightend, starting to block off his base a bit with cigarettes, and Tome of Relics a bit further forward, which isn't blocking his base at all, but will mean that he can pick up a Staff Necromancy a bit quicker. And Nightend actually scouting here with a ghoul, which isn't the most common thing, especially on a 2-spawn map, because you know where your opponent's going to be anyways. And Remind not sending his hero to the creeps immediately. He didn't set his rally point by looks of it, and didn't cost him too much time. Picks up a circlet, which is a nice item for the warden, because all 3 of intelligence, strength and agility are really important to the warden for obvious reasons. And Death Knight now coming in for Nightend. He's actually bringing his ghoul back, so I guess he's just going to be trying to coil steal rather than actually putting much damage on an archer or anything like that. And Remind just having a wisp just near Nightend's base, hidden, but will allow him to go and scout and see what he's doing, see how his tech is progressing, and he'll be able to ring that in every once in a while. And Remind hasn't started teching yet, but he will in a second by the looks of things. Yep, there he goes there. And he's trying to chase down the Death Knight, but not actually using a Shadow Strike, because he knows he can't get his archers to catch up, and if he can't get his archers firing, he's just not going to do enough damage to really have it make sense. And this time he might actually fire the Shadow Strike because his archers are a bit closer, but no, he turns back again. Really, neither side doing much here, and Death Knight's still at 0 experience, but we can see some ghouls coming out here, and we'll just creep this camp and get Death Knight a bit closer to level 2, which is quite important, obviously, because of Unholy Aura. And Remind did Shadow Strike that Death Knight, and did put on a bit of damage, but not very much. And Nightend now actually coming in to kill the archer, but it looks like, oh, that's interesting actually, the warden bought a Claws of Attack. You don't often see that for a warden. I mean, for a Blade Master you occasionally see it, but not so much for wardens. Anyways, some very nice creeping here by Remind. Actually, he might lose this archer. Yeah, he does, which isn't great, but as you can see, he can kill the Ogre Magi and just hide his archers behind these trees, so they never have to tank any damage, and they're never really at risk, and they can run away without being ensnared and once you're done taking the good creep. And he did get a Potion of Vulnerability, which is a very nice item against undead, obviously, because they can just do so much raw damage just from their nukes. And Remind now running in will probably just buy boots. I don't think any of these items he'll particularly want to sell. Yeah, just buys the boots. And let's see how his tech is going. His tech is almost complete. I assume this is... Oh no Hunter's Hall yet. That's odd. Oh, there it is there. It's a bit late, but not sort of really super late. And Graveyard now going up for Nightend, as well as his tech is about the same speed as Remind's. And we probably won't be seeing Gargs on this, just because Gargs has sort of gone out of favour against Night Elf now. They tend to go for a faster tier 3 with Fiends, maybe Abominations, depending on what the Night Elf goes possibly meat wagons. But they tend to mix up their army a bit more than just Ghoul-Garg like they have been doing until now, really. And some more just solo creeping by those ghouls there, which has got him to level 2, and he's actually trying to creep this Ogre Magi with just his Death Knight and 3 skeletons, and actually 2 of them time out. So not much left for him, but he does get the kill and is forced away, even though there's a fair bit of harass from Remind, and Remind should hide these archer really, because both of these trappers are bloodlusted. You don't want to be fighting that. And Panda now for Remind, who's now chasing down the Death Knight. He does have Unholy Aura, so I imagine he will get away, despite the slow from the Warden. Actually, he turns his Panda back. Maybe he's just going to try and creep that Panda wall, putting some more pressure on the Death Knight, and obviously having it low is quite an advantage as well, because there's no Obsidian statues. The Solar House actually just started now, and so the only healing is going to come from being on Blight and the Unholy Aura level 1, and any other healing he wants to have to buy, and he doesn't really want to be spending gold at this point in the game on superfluous healing. He's actually bringing his Warden back. He probably wants to get level 3, and because level 2 Shadow Strike is just so effective, and immediately starting to creep this with just 3 archers and his 2 heroes, and 1 Ancient of Lore going down. Not a second one yet, but he is taking to tier 3, and this will probably be a second lore here. Wait, yeah, there it is there, and this is quite nice. Nightend was creeping this camp, and he's actually used a skeleton just to pull all of these creeps away here, and that meant that it was much easier to creep the main wizard, and he got from that a pendant of energy, which is a very useful item, and especially on either undead hero, either Death Knight or Lich, which I assume we'll be seeing soon. Yeah, it's halfway done now. And his tech to tier 3 is almost done as well, and it will probably come out about the same time as the Lich, so he'll immediately be able to pick up an orb. And then, I'm not sure if he'll attack now. He's going for a Ghoul Fiend mix, which is fairly good against archers and dryads. But if Phoenix Remind gets too many bears, he could be in a bit more trouble. And as you can see, his tier 3 upgrade is almost done. I'm not sure if he has bear training level 1. I wouldn't imagine he would at this point, because he'll just be focusing on dryads. But when he does get them, we might have to see Nightend switch up his tactic either to Frostworms or Destroyers. And Death Knight just briefly saw the Warden there, but who just gets one Shadow Strike off on the Lich, and it's level 2 Shadow Strike now, so it's actually a fair bit of damage to a Lich level 1. And our Remind actually accidentally pulls out some creeps here, which sort of slows down Nightend's creeping a bit, but not too much. They do come back fairly soon. And it looks like Remind isn't going to try and creep jack him. He does have Wand of Illusion, which is a fairly nice item against undead, because if you use it on your heroes just before the start of a battle, then they won't immediately know which hero to try and nuke down, because they could accidentally waste it all on a fake one, so they have to spend a bit of time just seeing which one's real, and then they have to pay attention as well. An Ancient of Wind going up here for Remind as well, so we'll probably be seeing some hippogriffs as well. And picking up an Orb of Venomous, this is very standard, because it's a good easy way to attack air, and also just Orb of Venom is a very nice item in general. And 2 bears coming out now, only adept training so far, but we'll probably see that the master training finish soon. And no expansion from either side yet, actually. He hasn't even creeped out the trappers yet, so it might be a while until we see one from the elf, and that's fairly unusual, because it's often very important to expand versus undeads, just because undeads are so strong even just on one base. And actually 3 gloves on the Lich, and I expect Nightend to know that only once you get past 2 gloves you don't actually get any additional attack speed. He should really transfer one of those to the Death Knight, just because it's a bit useless. And Tomo experience here, and I imagine he's bringing it. He's going to give it to the Lich, just so we'll get so close to level 3. Only 5 experience from level 3, and that's going to be very important when he does hit level 3. And this ghoul here, actually, in a very weird place, maybe who's just scouting the expo there, and for mine to now going just to attack the base, he does have he must have Master Bear. Yeah, he does have Master Bear upgrade by now, and he just focuses down an altar. Bears are such good sort of siege, even though they don't do siege damage. They just do so much to buildings that you can really sort of take these things down. And Nightend knows he can't fight against this, so he's just gonna creep a bit more while he waits for a slightly better army.